Biometrics automated tool set. You can see it has a bat there. This is a system that takes fingerprints, it takes faces, and we've been collecting faces for a long time. Last year, during the Biometrics Consortium, we identified Paul's company, or the company that Paul works for, Animetrics, and the technology that they're using is something we would like to incorporate because it will move from taking a 2D face recognition that's maybe 65% accurate into what we think is going to be a 3D modeling that's going to give us an avatar that's going to allow us to be able to identify someone from a profile with just one eye. And also, it's going to allow us to use the metadata or the images, the pictures that we've already collected, not to have to go out and collect them again. We're never going to see those 800,000 people again. So we've got to use the information that we've already collected, but we can apply it in a new way that will make it real for our soldiers to be able to see and rotate that head around and say, is that really that person? Is that really what they look like? And be able to get a 90, up in the 90s, we think, maybe close to 96% accuracy in face recognition. Where today we're sitting at about 65% accuracy. So it's not one that you want to use for an absolute positive ID. But if we can get it into the 90s, that will give me enough probable cause to say, I think you are that person that's on my alert list over here, and I'm going to just hold you and detain you until I can verify whether you are that person or not, just because the accuracy of my algorithm has now gone up in such a way that I can detain you based on 90%. 65%, and excuse me for saying this, but it's what people say, we don't want a lot of pissed off Iraqis if we don't have to have them. Okay? So what we're trying to do is detain those that need to be detained and process those that need to be processed and let them go on their way. And that really truly is. We're not trying to make it be some kind of a dictatorship over there, but in some ways we are. In order to positively try to root out who the insurgents are and who the bad people are, we have taken whole cities and we have put sandbags around them. That's what they call burming a city. And there's only certain ways to get into the city and get out of the city, the main entrances, the main roads. You can't go out just off, taken off like into the woods over here. You have to follow those entrances and exits. And when you enter the city of Fallujah, 3 years ago, you may have all seen it on the news. That's where all the insurgents were. That was the hot spot, the city of Fallujah. How many have heard about Fallujah being a hot spot lately in the last year? In the last year. How about in the last 2 years? About 3 years ago. The Marines went into that city, took everybody out of the city. 100% of the people, 250,000 people. Is that the size of your state? No, okay. Sorry, that was a joke. But they took the 250,000 people out of the city of Fallujah. And then in order to come back in and move back into your house, you had to be what they call batted. And so you go through the bat system. We'll put you in there. You get your own little badge. It's a little bat badge, and it says, I live in Fallujah. When I come up now, it makes my search faster because we actually search on the barcode, not on their head, by the way. And that does faster searches than the algorithms do for the matching. And then we do a one-to-one verification. It's just that, you are that person that's supposed to have the badge. So the city of Fallujah, the senior intelligence person for CENTCOM, the people who were fighting in Iraq, was General Custer. Good name. But General Custer, he is quoted as saying, we own Fallujah, we meaning the United States, we own Fallujah because of fact. He meant because of biometrics, but we own Fallujah because we positively identified who should be in that city and who shouldn't be in that city. You may have heard of the surge that's going on in Baghdad right now. And you may have heard that, it appears where we've sent in all the troops that it appears to be working. In the last 4 months, since they have had the surge units in there, they've added over 100,000 people to the database. And the way that they are making it work is they are going around and they are setting up watch lists that have biometrics tied to them, and they're positively identifying who the insurgents are. They're positively identifying how people are moving around so that if their movements are suspicious, they're able to start tracking them by the only way they can. Because take it from me, using Mohammed is not a way to do a search criteria over there. You just, you'll get 800,000 hits back from Mohammed. So by using biometrics and positively identifying the people who are supposed to be there, we know who is not supposed to be there. By putting them on alert, by getting them registered, we can now go and do the forensics, the CSI type of things at our sites, and find out from those remnants of bombs the fingerprints that are left behind on the tape, the pieces of hair follicles that are left behind on those bombs, and positively identify them back to those bad people who we may encounter trying to come into the city of Baghdad or in through one of those checkpoints, because we load up the latent prints in here and we do matching against those as well. So it really is making a difference in the way we fight and conduct our war using new technology. And that's what's so exciting. Matt? So, Matt, next slide. This, I'm just going to show you a little bit about how we want to take the technology that the company of Animetrics has, and how we're going to propose to put it and do some tests and make sure that it works. We take 5 different pictures of folks in BAT right now. They're not always as optimum as our scientists would like. My Marines sometimes say, face this way, but the person does this. So they don't understand that the picture is actually supposed to be of their profile. They just know, I'm telling you to face that way, and I'm going to take your picture, and the guy looks. It's a difficult thing to be part of quality control in the collection process, but we try very hard. So we try to get 5 pictures of every person, every bad person, every suspicious person that is put into the database. For sure we do this. And for most of the other people, we try to get at least 3. Matt? And then we want to take that using the technology that's available through Animetrics, and they use a mathematical formula, and they go in and they measure the distance between the eyes, and then they build, I call it, they build an avatar type face. That face can be rotated 360 degrees. So now when I'm looking at you sitting in front of me, I get a chance to actually look at you from the profile, not just from, oh, you've shaved your beard. Your hair is different. You're a blonde now, and you were a redhead yesterday. So that this takes you a little bit beyond that to where you can actually look at the face structure of the person, twist it around a little bit if you're not sure who that person is. And what we want to do is we want to build a viewer so that the people who are on alert, we build these little avatars for, not all 800,000 people that are in the database, but those 20,000 that might be on alert, the really high-value targets, and have a little viewer in every hide in every bat that's out there, so that they can look at the bad guys if you get a match against their biometrics and see, does that look like you? Because the human brain can process better than any technology that's out there, and always will. Yeah. So a facial recognition system that's linked to a database of suspected terrorists, that's what we need to do. And not just facial recognition.